Peach sour.
Better than peach snaps.
Tasty.
Hey, Peter. God dang it, Bobby.
Welcome back, guys, to 191 Media. I'm Micah.
And I'm Matt.
And today we'll be reacting to a little band called Misery Signals with a song called Sunlifter.
Let's get into it. It's very calm so far.
Makes me miss shows, man.
Oh yeah, it's depressing.
Got that classic sound going on. Nice breakdown.
Yeah. It's too short though.
Oh man, it mixed the melodic and heavy so well.
This is what I love.
Man, whoever made this video is really good.
It's well produced. Just never know what they're saying. Spicy.
Oh, I wish they kept going, man. That part was sick.
Just trying to tease you a little bit, right?
Very nice.
That was very dangerous. So that was our listen of Sunlifter by the band Misery Signals. Sunlifter was one of 3 songs released by Misery Signals that was one of 3 singles before their album Ultraviolet was released. What did you think of the song, Micah?
Dude, I thought it was sick. Like, this is one of their first, I guess their first album since Absent Light, which was 7 years ago. And a lot of the band, or I guess fans, were figuring out if Misery Signals was gonna come back. I'm a huge fan of the band. I didn't discover them until about maybe 4 years ago, but they're one of the metalcore kings from like the early 2000s that never really got much credit. Like they were up there with like August Burns Red and As I Lay Dying, Every Time I Die, Counterparts, bands like that. Killswitch Engage, but Misery Signals was never really that popular for some reason, but they influenced so many bands. So when I listened to the song Sunlifter, I was like, holy crap, like this is such a callback to their old album of Malice in the Magnum Heart. And I thought that Sunlifter was really good. The only problem I had with Sunlifter was they did a little part where they almost teased us, and they did like one kind of like build up and then like breakdown part and then never came back to it. I wish that bands would continue on with that. And I just wish there was like 2 or 3 other parts where they continue to do that. What did you think of the song, Matt?
I thought it was really good. It was done really well, and I don't know Misery Signals too much as what you've showed me from, when did their album Controller come out?
2008.
So you showed me that album maybe a couple years ago now. And I thought it was really good, and I really like when bands like this, or bands in general, have a low part to the music with a high part mixed in the same time. I just think it sounds really good. So this song had that. So to me, it sounded great. Just like my usual comment I always have about metal songs, I never know what they're saying. So, I mean, cool sounding song. I just don't know
You
what
can
they're
understand it, man?
Could you?
No. I gotta look up the lyrics.
Yeah. So for the listeners who don't know what metalcore is, what's it mean, metalcore?
Metalcore is like a weird combination of like normal traditional metal plus hardcore music. So hardcore had a lot of like breakdowns. So metalcore was like a mix of like traditional metal mixed with like hardcore music where they put in breakdowns. But a lot of like really crappy bands came out of the metalcore scene, but there's a lot of amazing bands that kind of pioneered the genre. But they were like more back in the day type bands from the early 2000s. But there's a lot of bands that are still going on, like Killswitch Engage, Misery Signals, Every Time I Die, Counterparts, As I Lay Dying. Those are kind of the bands, or August Burns Red, they're the bands that like laid the groundwork for all these bands that pretty much were aping them for years. So, but Misery Signals was one of the bands that really never got much appreciation from the metal scene. But even when Matt and I saw them a couple of years ago, they only had maybe about 500 people come to the show, but everyone was like really into the show and everyone just loved the band.
Yeah, that show was done really well. I don't think there's even 500. There was like maybe 200 at most. It was a small bar that was almost like a dive bar. You go downstairs and it's a small opening, but I think there's only 200 people at that show, if that. We had a few drinks. It was a good show, and you know, like, people were wild. Like, it wasn't big, but the fans who go, they really like the music, so people get into it, and that's what you like to see, right? You don't go to shows to see people stand around with their arms crossed just in the corner, you know. It's like you go to the show, Misery Signals, and it's the fans who want to see them, and they're just going as hard as they possibly can.
Yeah, and I think they're going so hard at the show because they only come to their area maybe like once every couple of years. And like I said, their album Absent Light was the last time they released an album, and Ultraviolet was like 7 years later, and they actually brought back their old vocalist who was the vocalist for of Malice in the Magnum Heart, because they got rid of their old vocalist who was with Controller and the album Mirrors. And I don't know exactly what was going on with that. There was something going on with that, but I think a lot of the fans, they decided to go back with the original singer of Malice because fans like that album the most. I think that's the album they're most well known for. But I think, Matt, you're more of a fan of like Controller because it was more like a heavy style album, you know?
And that was also the first one that you showed me. So to me, that was Misery Signals for me. That was the album. That's what I know. And then, yeah, the other stuff was like, oh, okay, this is them too. But kind of Controller, the heavier, like you said, that's what I know of them.
Yeah, it's like whoever you like. There's the old vocalist was, I can't remember his name, but on Controller. And then there's like Jesse of Malice in the Magnum Heart. And I think you either like one or you like the other, but there's a lot of fans like me that just like all of their music, so I can't really complain about it. So would you listen to the song again, Matt?
Yes, I definitely would. I would listen to the song and of course the band, Misery Signals, again, definitely. Because I'm into this band, I do like the music. Not as much as you though, I believe. Can you tell us all how much you are obsessed with this band, Micah? And here's your Misery Signals shirt, if nobody noticed.
I have like 3 or 4 of their shirts, but I feel like they're one of the best bands in the metalcore scene, in metal in general. I don't know, I feel like they're just really talented at what they do, really good screaming vocals, really good guitar, the drumming is amazing. There's a session on YouTube called Rain City Sessions where Misery Signals recorded themselves, I think it was in Vancouver, for the Of Malice and the Magnum Heart 10-year anniversary, which was 2014. And it's one of the best and most well-produced videos I've ever seen in my life. And I just keep on going back to watch that video. So I'm really obsessed with the band, and I just love what they do. I thought like their song 5 Years is one of the best songs in any genre. I'll like put it up against any other song. I love that song, 5 Years. If you guys haven't checked out the song 5 Years by Misery Signals, check it out because it has one of the best outros I've ever heard in my life.
And we were actually supposed to see them, was it this month actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, November.
Yeah, next month, but then of course with the pandemic it got canceled, so all the shows are off the table, so we have to resort to, they're throwing a live stream in December actually, December 5th. So if you want to support the band, buy a ticket to that, it's $10. Support, small time bands.
Yeah, and all the donations or it's not donations, all the money from the tickets are actually going to support venues around the world, so that's pretty cool.
Thanks for watching, guys. This has been another 191 Media music reaction. I'm Misery Signals.
And I'm Sunlifter. And if you liked our video, you can like, comment, or subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.